Ladies, if you think feminine energy is just about being soft, submissive, or seductive, or what the red pill guys say, which is what is it, bit friendly and feminine, well, I've got some news for you. They're lying to you because feminine energy isn't just about those things. It's actually a strategy. And when you learn how to use it intentionally, you're actually going to stop chasing unhealthy men or money or anything that it is that you want in life. And you're going to start attracting everything that is meant for you. Hi, my name is Amanda. Welcome to this channel where we talk about how to manifest what you want in life with all the extra stress, chaos, and drama that most people are accustomed to. If that's something that you are interested in, make sure to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you don't miss a single video that we have coming out on this channel. Lately, we've been talking a lot about feminine energy, masculine energy, nervous system regulation, healthy relationship dynamics, lots of really fun, juicy things, and you guys have been growing very rapidly, actually. We've got subscribers and people commenting from all over the world right now. So make sure to join that community by hitting the subscribe button below. And if you like this video, give it a like because it helps us get it in front of even more women because God, is there a lot of confusion out here. So you can do your part to heal the collective consciousness in women by giving this video a like or sharing it with a girlfriend. And as always, if I have extra resources for you that go deeper into the contents of this video, I will make sure to share them as we go through the video itself. But you can find links to everything in the description and in the first comment. So first, let's go into busting the myth of the soft girl, feminine energy, trad wife, 1950s housewife trope, because that's really what it is. The reality is that social media has watered down feminine energy to pretty aesthetics, passive energy, and waiting to be chosen. And that's not divine feminine energy. That's actually quite performative, and it's rooted in patriarchy. I don't talk too much about the patriarchy on this channel because I don't believe in blaming everybody else for your problems. If it does exist, I saw somebody say this in the comment section the other day. Well, if it exists, and we're living under it, then we might as well learn to use it to our advantage. And when you really understand divine feminine energy, you start to realize that you actually have an advantage even in a patriarchal system. Because the reality is that true feminine energy is wild, wise, receptive, radiant, and deeply intuitive. There's nothing weak about her. She's actually quite strategic. She's very wise, and she is very discerning. We're going to talk a lot about discernment today, and how feminine energy allows you to be discerning and make wise choices in this crazy world that we're living in right now, especially when it comes to choosing better men. But let me dispel this myth for you once and for all. So, for example, the archetype that a lot of people will use to describe feminine energy, at least in the Western world, is that 1950s housewife. So, first of all, that was a uniquely American thing, the 1950s housewife. So it doesn't apply globally. So that's reason number one why that one doesn't work. And then the second reason why it doesn't work is because it was a uniquely American thing. Then we have to look at this history of the United States and what was going on at that time. Because by the time we got to the 1950s housewife, she was actually already very much in her masculine energy and over-functioning and doing way too much. Because at that point, I think she'd already had about 50 years in the United States of families being pulled apart, either because men were taken out of the house to go out and work during the age of industrialization. Another thing that happened is people started moving away from communities and rural areas into small quarters in cities, further breaking the family dynamics apart and further putting more workload on a woman when that happened, or the wives in the household. In addition to that, we had the Great Depression where men were out of work, 2 world wars where they were sent overseas and either died, or when they came back, they were non-functioning. So by the time we got to 1950, the 1950s housewife was already very much in her masculine energy and over-functioning for everyone around her because she'd already been through decades of believing that she could not rely on men, or men were not there, or that she really had to step up. So if anybody is out here telling you that the trad wife is feminine energy, they would be dead ass wrong if you look at the history of how all of this actually came to be. A lot of people think that the fall of the family in the United States and all of that started with feminism. It did not. It started a good 50, 60 years before feminism even came to play in the United States. That's not to say that feminism hasn't brought a lot of problems. It certainly has. Really, whatever wave of feminism we're on right now, I definitely have a bone to pick with it because it's definitely confused a lot of women and men in terms of what healthy relationship dynamics were. But that's not what started this whole thing. That's not what started masculinized women in Western culture. That started way before we even got to feminism. So let's go into feminine energy as a strategy. Now, I know on this channel, I talk a lot about how feminine energy is really about your body. It's an embodiment. It's about your capacity to receive. It's nervous system regulation for women. I know talk a lot about that, and I say things like, well, strategy is more masculine. Yes, it's true. So I'm going to change this a little bit, and I'm going to talk about feminine energy as wisdom and discernment in a crazy world, especially when it comes to dating. So your feminine and your feminine energy isn't something that you have to necessarily access after you've worked hard enough. You can't work your way into feminine energy necessarily. And I know that, inner work gets thrown out a lot. And yes, inner work is work. But, we just don't have other words in the English language to describe what it is that we're trying to do right now. So we have to use words like strategy and inner work so that a woman who has been more masculinized because of life can understand what it is that we're talking about. But feminine energy is not something that, you access once you've worked hard enough. It's not something that you earn. It's something that you were born with at the end of the day. I will give an example. If you've ever been around a newborn baby girl, she has everyone in the room wrapped around her little pinky, okay? And it's true. It's something that women are born with. So feminine energy actually gives you a lot of discernment before action. It helps you have a lot more discernment with picking men who are healthy and good for you, right? And will be a value add to your life, and you'll be a value add to his. It gives you discernment before taking any sort of action whatsoever. That all comes for a woman. That all comes from a place of feminine energy. It also gives you magnetism. It's what makes you attractive, so you don't have to go out chasing things. They start coming to you. And it's also about the power that you have in relationships, because feminine energy is that power that inspires men to their greatness. It's the energy that inspires men to do better. It's the energy that inspires men to keep giving and giving and giving and reach their full potential while you're also reaching yours. It's not about chasing anything. It's about inspiring, and you can only do that from a place of feminine energy. And imagine how strategic that is. I oftentimes tell women, if they understood the level of power and influence that they have over men, they would be a lot more careful about what they say about men, how they treat men, how they talk to men, the tone that they use. And I know that it's not easy because nobody ever taught us any of these things, but once you really understand how powerful that feminine energy is, you're going to be a lot more careful, those of you who are married, in terms of how you speak to your husbands, for example, because you realize that even the way in which you communicate with a man can make or break him. It's really that powerful. So here's how to activate this feminine energy strategy, or wisdom, or discernment, or however you want to call it. You want to learn how to be still before you move or take any action whatsoever. So when it comes to dating, I talk a lot about being an observer and responding to what the men are doing. And that's basically what I'm talking about here. Most women, they don't think before they act, especially in dating, because they've got all this chemistry and all this stuff and all this chaos making the decisions for them. So one of the things that you have to learn how to do is you have to learn how to be silent, and you have to learn how to be an observer, and you need to learn how to respond instead of react when you are in dating situations, and that will actually help you pick better men. The other thing is learning to choose magnetism over force. So it's letting your energy lead. When you're dating, it's about letting your energy lead, not about what degrees you have, because healthy masculine men don't care about what degrees you have, not because they don't see value in it, not because they don't respect you for it, but because it's not what makes them fall in love. It's that simple. It says you can fight it, you can be upset about it, or you can just accept it and play the game. That's what I always tell people. So it's about letting your energy lead. If you're in business, it's the same thing. It's about letting your energy lead and being attractive, not just, being very methodical and hustling and all of that, because eventually that's just going to burn you out as a woman anyway. It's also about boundaries as embodiment. So the feminine is not actually a doormat, like a lot of these people out here tell you. She's actually a force of nature with standards. She knows how to communicate those boundaries from where she's still being kind and also extremely effective in making sure that the boundary is actually respected. There is actually a method to doing that from a place of feminine energy that will gain respect, will gain attraction, and you don't have to, be pounding on a table or yelling or anything like that. It's actually quite the opposite. And the feminine is also really good at receiving. The number one thing I have noticed in the comment section of this YouTube channel, in coaching sessions and emails that I get from you guys, is most of you feel very uncomfortable receiving. You start to receive blessings and immediately you're like anxious, right? Or a man starts to give to you and you already automatically you feel very uncomfortable. The feminine is very good at receiving. Something came up in the comment section recently where one of you asked, are you telling me that in order for me to attract a masculine provider man, I have to get good at receiving from men? And I said, yes, you have to become an expert at receiving from men, because healthy masculine men love to give. And I have noticed in the comment section that that's one of the areas that you all struggle with the most, because you start feeling guilty or shameful, or like you need to give something back, or like you're not worthy of it, or maybe it's dangerous because they want something from you. There's all these different feelings that start to come up and start to create anxiety. And if you want to be in your divine feminine energy, you actually have to be very, very good at receiving. And when you get good at receiving from men, believe me, you're going to get good at receiving everything else. Money from the universe, help, whatever you can imagine. You're going to get very good at receiving it. And I will say it's a practice. I recently said on a video that I started getting very uncomfortable because life is getting really good. And I felt that anxiety start to creep up. And I'm like, okay, all right, you just have to expand your capacity to receive. What do we need to do? And in my case, I needed to spend some time in silence, right? And some alone time, and really integrating into this new amazing life that, my husband and I are building. So in terms of extra resources, right, here's where I recommend getting started. And it's just going to depend on where you are in this journey. The first place is the Feminine Magnetism Mastery Program, which you can get for $27. It's like 3 hours of training. It explains the psychology of healthy men, for those of you who've been asking about that. And it also explains how to embody feminine energy. It's kind of like the 101 of how to get started and how men respond and react to that. It also talks about the traits of a feminine woman, how to start making decisions from a more feminine place. So that's the Feminine Magnetism Mastery Program for $27, which you can grab below. The second place is the High Value Woman Transformation Program. Now, in that program, it's about 6 modules, and that's where we go really deep into boundaries, how to communicate them, how to overcome wounds that may be getting in the way of your love life, how to expand your social circle so you have higher quality people around you. So you can find the information for both of those below. You just click, you buy, and it automatically shows up in the member portal, and you can start learning these things today, immediately, as soon as you buy. A quick recap here. Feminine energy is a strategy. It's about having wisdom. It's about being discerning. It's about understanding the level of influence that you have over the people around you. It's not about being perfect by any way, shape, or form. It's not perfection. No one is perfect. But it is about being mindful. And it is about being mindful of cultivating this energy and how it affects other areas of your life. And when you start to embrace this, it changes everything. Okay. I mean, for me, I manifested a provider husband. I manifested moving to other countries and traveling often. I manifested 2 new businesses, one through my husband and now this one. I manifested, I actually also manifested better health. Now, this may have to do with the fact that there's better food quality in Mexico than in the United States. But in the United States, I was having thyroid issues all the time because I was constantly hustling. I was constantly in that masculine energy. I've moved into the feminine energy. I don't have any issues with that anymore. Granted, we did move to another country with higher food quality. That most definitely probably has something to do with it. But I also know that understanding feminine energy and starting to live more from that place has also helped my health improve in ways that I was finding very difficult, quite frankly, in the United States. So thank you so much for giving me your time today. I'm honored to be your teacher. We are global, everybody. We've got subscribers and commenters coming in from all over the world. We've had Germany, we've had Australia, we've had India, we've had other parts of Western Europe, the United States, Canada, Australia. I mean, you guys are coming from everywhere. And it really makes my heart sing that I'm able to help you on this path. Many of you are saying, oh my gosh, this is the first time anybody's ever told me this. Well, welcome, because it's going to change your entire life. If you haven't subscribed yet, make sure to do so to join the community. And you can find all the links to all the resources we have available, both free and paid, as well as working with me privately below. Thank you so much for giving me your time today, and I'll catch you on the next one.